Wake up, Atlanta. It's time for coffee. Talk presented by Spotify. Fresh vibes, real talk.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. This is Coffee Talk in the Morning, presented by Spotify. Okay, Sierra. My show is back on HBO Max. The largest naval battle in Westerosi history just got its on-screen debut, and somehow it felt small. How does that even happen?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. The Battle of the Gullet should have been this massive, chaotic, high-stakes spectacle, but instead, it felt like we were watching a skirmish in someone's backyard. What do you think went wrong?
Well, for starters, the scale just wasn't there. In the books, this battle is described as this sprawling, devastating conflict with dragons, fleets, and armies all colliding, but in the show, it felt so confined. The ships were cramped together, the action was hard to follow, and we didn't get that sense of grandeur or desperation that the story demands.
That's exactly it. And it's not just the visuals, it's the storytelling. The way the show handled Aegon the Younger and Viserys during this battle was baffling. In the books, Aegon's escape on Stormcloud and Viserys' capture are such pivotal moments. They shape Aegon's character and set up so much of what's to come. But here, they're just missing.
Right, and that's such a missed opportunity. Aegon's escape is this heart-wrenching moment where he has to leave his little brother behind. It's traumatic, it's defining, and it adds so much depth to his character. By cutting that, the show robs us of one of the most emotional beats of the entire battle.
And it's not just Aegon and Viserys. Jace's role in the battle was also completely changed, and not for the better. In the books, he's this tragic figure, a young man trying to prove himself in the chaos of war, but in the show, he comes across as impulsive and reckless, defying his mother and getting himself killed in the process. It strips away so much of the nuance and tragedy of his character.
Exactly. And then there's the whole sheep stealer situation. I get that they wanted to simplify the cast and give Rhaena something to do, but replacing Nettles with Rhaena, that's a bold choice, and I'm not sure it works. Nettles is such a unique character in the books, and her bond with Sheep Stealer adds this wild, unpredictable energy to the story. Losing that feels like a huge loss.
Totally. Nettles and Sheep Stealer brought this raw, untamed element to the dance of the dragons. By replacing her with Rhaena, the show makes the story feel a bit too polished, too controlled. And don't even get me started on how Sheep Stealer is now responsible for Jace's death. That parallel with Lucerys' death, it's just lazy writing.
Yeah, it's repetitive, isn't it? Both of Rhaenyra's eldest sons killed because dragons defied their riders. It's like the writers are trying to make some kind of thematic point, but it just comes across as unimaginative. And speaking of unimaginative, Lohar, what was that character even doing in this show?
Oh, Lohar. Where do I even begin? She's like a cartoon villain dropped into a serious drama. The whole girl boss pirate admiral thing. It's so out of place in a show like this. She's overpowered, over the top, and completely unbelievable. I mean, she single-handedly fights off Corlys and Alan of Hull, two seasoned warriors in full plate armor while wearing cloth and leather. Come on.
It's absurd. And the way she was written, it felt like the writers were trying so hard to make her this iconic, memorable character, but it just didn't work. She's like a bad parody of Euron Greyjoy, but without any of the charm or menace. At least she's gone now, though I half expected her to rise from the waves like some kind of undead pirate queen.
Honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised. But her inclusion is just one example of how the show has been making changes that don't seem to add anything meaningful to the story. Like, why not stick closer to the book's version of the Battle of the Gullet? It's already such a compelling sequence. The drama, the tragedy, the stakes, it's all there.
Agreed. The book's version of the battle has this incredible sense of scale and chaos. You've got the gay abandon being ambushed, Aegon's desperate escape on Stormcloud, Viserys is captured, the Valerian fleet on the brink of destruction, and then the dragon swooping in to turn the tide is cinematic gold. Why change it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's not just the battle itself, it's the fallout. In the books, this battle has huge consequences for everyone involved. Aegon is traumatized, Rhaenyra is devastated, and the war takes a darker, bloodier turn. But in the show, it feels like they're glossing over all of that.
It's frustrating because the show does some things really well. The production design, the performances, the dragons, they're all top notch. But when it comes to the writing, especially to the character development and the big story beats, it feels like they're cutting corners or making changes for the sake of change.
Exactly. And it's not just the Battle of the Gullet. The ongoing friendship between Rhaenyra and Alicent, it's dragging the story down. In the books, their relationship is so much more complex and antagonistic. But in the show, they're bending over backward to make both characters more likable, and it's flattening their arcs.
Yeah, Rhaenyra especially. In the books, she's this fierce, ambitious, and often ruthless character. She's not a hero or a villain. She's complicated. But in the show, they're trying so hard to make her the good guy, and it's stripping away so much of what makes her interesting.
And it's not just her. Alicent too has been softened and made more sympathetic. In the books, she's bitter, cunning, and deeply flawed. But in the show, she's almost unrecognizable. And don't even get me started on that kiss with Aemond. Was that really necessary?
Oh, that was something. I get that the Targaryens have their whole incest thing, but this felt gratuitous. It didn't add anything to the story or the characters. It was just there to shock the audience, and it felt cheap.
Agreed. And speaking of unnecessary changes, what's going on with Rhaenyra's sons, Joffrey, Aegon the Younger, Viserys? They've been sidelined so much that it's easy to forget they exist. These are important characters with pivotal roles in the story, but the show seems to have no idea what to do with them.
It's a real shame because the younger generation of Targaryens and Valerians have so much potential. Their relationships, their struggles, their choices, they're all crucial to the dance of the dragons. But instead, the show is focusing on these invented subplots and characters that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. And it's not like the source material is lacking in drama or intrigue. There's so much to work with, and yet the show keeps making these baffling deviations. It's like they don't trust the story to stand on its own.
That's what it feels like, and I get it. Adapting something as sprawling and complex as Fire and Blood is no easy task. But when you start making changes that undermine the core of the story, you have to wonder what the end game is.
Well, the end game is probably Bran becoming king again, right?
Laughs. Don't even joke about that. But seriously, I'm still holding out hope that the show can course correct. There's so much potential here, and when it gets things right, it's incredible. I just hope they don't lose sight of what made this story so compelling in the first place.
Same here. There's still a lot to look forward to. More dragons, more battles, more betrayals, and hopefully some of the changes will start to make more sense as the season progresses. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. And hey, at least we've got the Starks showing up now. That's always a good sign, right?
Absolutely. Roddy the Ruin is already shaping up to be a standout character. Let's just hope the show doesn't mess him up too.
Here's hoping. Well, I think we've dissected this episode enough for one day. Any final thoughts?
Just this. I want the show to trust its audience more. Trust us to handle complex characters, messy relationships, and morally ambiguous choices. That's what made Game of Thrones so compelling in its early seasons, and that's what can make House of the Dragon truly great.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Here's to hoping the rest of the season delivers. Until next time.
Until next time.
Okay, so here's something to think about. Star Fox, a game that first hit shelves in the early 90s, is still making waves in 2023. How many franchises can say they've stayed relevant for over 3 decades?
That's a great point. And what's even more impressive is how this new remake of Star Fox 64 manages to feel both nostalgic and modern at the same time. It's not just a rehash, it's a full-on reimagining.
Exactly. They've taken what was already a beloved classic and added layers of depth, from the fully voiced cinematics to the revamped visuals and soundtrack. It's like they've polished every corner of the game while still keeping its soul intact.
And that's no small feat. A lot of remakes either lean too heavily on nostalgia or try so hard to innovate that they lose what made the original special. This one seems to strike a perfect balance.
Totally. Let's start with the campaign structure, because that's always been one of the most unique aspects of Star Fox. The branching paths, the alternate exits. It's such a clever way to encourage replayability without making it feel repetitive.
Right. It's like every playthrough is its own little adventure. You might only see 7 stages in a single run, but there are 16 in total, and unlocking all of them feels like solving a puzzle. It's a design choice that's aged incredibly well.
And the Switch 2's upgraded visuals make it even better. The reflections on the water in Corneria, the kaleidoscopic wormholes, it's all so vibrant and detailed. It's like they've taken the game we remember and turned it into a visual masterpiece.
Plus, the revamped soundtrack really ties it all together. Music is such a huge part of the experience, especially in a game like this, where every mission has its own distinct vibe. It's not just background noise, it's part of the storytelling.
Absolutely. And speaking of storytelling, those new cinematics are a game changer. They've added so much depth to the characters. Slippy isn't just the goofy mechanic anymore. You actually see his passion for engineering. And Peppy, he's not just the do-a-barrel roll guy. He's this wise mentor figure who adds real weight to the story.
And then there's Falco. His cocky attitude has always been part of his charm, but hearing it come through in fully voiced lines makes him feel so much more real. Even Fox himself has this added wit and confidence that makes him even more likable.
It's amazing how much personality they've packed into these characters. It makes you care about them in a way that the original never quite managed. And that's not to say the original didn't have charm. It absolutely did. But this remake takes it to another level.
And it's not just about the characters either. The gameplay itself has been fine-tuned to perfection. Movement and aiming feel snappy and responsive, and the limited arsenal of weapons forces you to think strategically about how to approach each encounter.
Exactly. It's one of those games where the more you play, the more you uncover. Each stage is packed with hidden objectives and alternate routes, and figuring out how to unlock them is incredibly satisfying. It's like the game rewards curiosity and experimentation.
And that's where the new challenge mode really shines. It's not just about replaying levels, it's about mastering them, whether you're racing Falco through obstacles or trying to take down a boss within a time limit. The challenges push you to your limits in the best way.
Totally. And that sense of mastery is so rewarding. It's one thing to finish a level, but to go back and optimize your path, memorize enemy patterns, and achieve the highest score, that's where the real fun begins. Though I will say, some of those expert-level challenges sound pretty brutal.
For sure. But I think that's part of the appeal, right? If you're going to include a mode like this, it should push players to their limits. That said, I do wish they'd gone a little further with it. A boss rush mode or alternate scenarios where you play as other team members, that would have been amazing.
Totally. It's like they laid this great foundation with challenge mode, but there's so much more they could build on. Hopefully, this is just the beginning, and we'll see more updates or expansions down the line. Speaking of updates, though, let's talk about the multiplayer battle mode.
Ah, yes. Multiplayer, it's always tricky with games like this because the campaign is so strong that multiplayer can sometimes feel like an afterthought. And while the battle mode here sounds fun, it does seem a bit limited with only 3 maps and specific events tied to each one.
Yeah, that part puzzled me too. With 16 levels in the campaign, you'd think they'd bring more of them into battle mode. It feels like a missed opportunity, but I will say, the new power-ups sound pretty exciting. I mean, a giant plasma blast that melts enemy pilots. Sign me up.
Oh, absolutely. And the smart mines that home in on enemies, that's the kind of chaos I want in a multiplayer match. But like you said, with only 3 maps, it's hard to see this mode having much staying power. Hopefully, Nintendo will add more content post-launch because there's definitely potential here.
Agreed. And then there's the Holo Viewer, which I think is such a cool addition. It's like a bestiary, but for Star Fox, getting deeper insights into the lore, the characters, the planets. It's a small thing, but it adds so much to the overall experience.
Definitely. Well, it's one of those features that might not seem like a big deal at first, but for fans who've been with the series for years, it's a treasure trove. And speaking of small additions, what did you think of the cosmetic system?
Mixed feelings, honestly. On one hand, the idea of VTuber-style avatars is really fun, especially with the ability to control facial movements. But the restrictions, like only being able to use certain characters in multiplayer matches, that feels unnecessarily limiting.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can see the potential, but the execution doesn't quite stick the landing. Still, I appreciate that they're trying to innovate and add new layers to the game. And let's not forget the other Switch 2 features like mouse controls and co-op play.
Mouse controls are interesting, but I feel like most people will stick with the Pro controller. And co-op, it's a fun idea, especially for parents introducing their kids to the series, but I don't see it becoming the go-to way to play.
Same here. But at the end of the day, what really matters is how well this remake captures the spirit of Star Fox 64, and from everything we've seen and heard, it sounds like they've absolutely nailed it.
Agreed. It's not just a remake, it's a reimagining that respects the original while bringing it into the modern era. Here's hoping this is just the beginning of a new chapter for Star Fox, because if this game proves anything, it's that the R-Wing is far from out of style.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's just hope Nintendo keeps the momentum going, because honestly, the galaxy feels a little brighter with Star Fox back in action.
We bring in good energy.
This has been Coffee Talk, presented by Spotify. From our cast, we thank you for listening.
Yeah.
May